There's a mausoleum. Is Mumtaz under this building? Was she walking and moving and talking when Shah Jahan built this over her?
They had stopped altogether. Was it wonder that had silenced him, or boredom? He had tried to keep the child interested by spinning stories that he thought would catch the boy's imagination. Do you see how white the building is? Do you know that the emperor who had it built, Shah Jahan, had banquets on the terrace on full moon nights where everything was white? The moonlight, the clothes, the courtiers and the guests wore, the flowers, the food, everything was white, to go with the white of the marble and the white light of the full moon. The boy had nodded, seemingly absorbing the information, but had betrayed no further curiosity. Now he wondered if his son had not found all this business of tombs and immortal grief and erecting memorials to the dead macabre, unsettling. His son was American, so he was not growing up as his father had, with the gift of ghost stories, first heard sitting on the laps of servants and aunts in his childhood home in Calcutta. Then, when he was a little older, read in children's books. As a result, he did not understand quite what went on inside the child's head, when novelties such as the notion of an order of things created by the imagination, residing under the visible world, and as vivid as the real one, were introduced to him. He made a mental note to stick to historical facts only when they reached Fatehpur Sikri. Or could it have been the terrible accident they had narrowly avoided witnessing yesterday at the moment of their arrival at the hotel? A huge multi-storied building was going up across the road, directly opposite, and a construction worker had apparently fallen to his death even while their car was getting into the slip lane for the hotel entrance. As they waited in the queue of vehicles, people had come running from all directions to congregate at one particular spot, about 20 meters from where they sat in their cars. Something about the urgency of the swarming and the indescribable sound that emanated from that swiftly engorging clot of people, a tense noise between buzzing and truculent murmuring, instantly transmitted the message that a disaster had occurred. Otherwise, how else would the child have known to ask, "Baba, people running! Look, what's happening there?" And how else could the driver have answered mercifully in Hindi, "A man's just fallen from the top of that building under construction. A mazdoor, instant death bachara." He had refused to translate. He had tried to pull his son back from craning his neck, but as the queue of cars moved and their vehicle moved forward, through a chance aperture in the hive of people around the death, he saw, for the briefest of flashes, a patch of dusty earth stained the color of old scab from the blood it had thirstily drunk. Then the slit closed, the car started advancing inch by inch, and the vision ended. He saw his son turning his head to continue to stare at the spot. But had the boy really seen the earth welt like that, or had he just imagined it? There was no way he could ask him to corroborate. Worries came stampeding in. Had the child seen it? Was he going to be affected by it? How could he establish if he had, without planting the idea in the boy's head? All of last night his mind had been a pincushion to these sharp questions until he had fallen asleep. They returned now, summoned by the boy's unnatural quietness. By the time they got out at Agra Gate, having shaved all of 10 minutes from the journey, the boy was looking decidedly peaky, and he felt that his own lunch had risen in rebellion to somewhere just behind his sternum. The driver grinned. There was just the right touch of the adversarial in the gleam of self-satisfaction. More than 20 years of life in the academic communities of the East Coast of the USA had defanged him of the easy Indian ability to bark at people considered as servants, so he swallowed his irritation, even the intention to ask the driver to take it more gently on the journey back, in case he couldn't control the tone and it was interpreted as a peremptory order. Instead, he said in Hindi, "We won't be more than an hour." The driver said, "Okay, sir," nodding vigorously. "I will be here." He checked the car to see if he had taken everything: a bottle of water, his wallet and passport, the guidebook, his small backpack, his phone, his son's little knapsack, then shut the car door and held out his hand. The boy